Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fantasy and Other Stuff podcast. I hope you're doing well. I had a pretty good week myself. I went to Colorado with my parents, and I had plenty of time to get a lot of reading done because it was like a 10-hour drive, and I had nothing else to do. So I read a lot of books this week. Well, okay, books is the wrong word. I read a lot of a book this week. I finished one. You know what, let's just get into it because I will just keep going in circles here. I read Skysworn, book 4 in the Cradle series. That book is pretty short, so I only spent a short amount of time of my total reading time this week finishing that up. And man, Cradle just keeps getting better and better, man. Every single entry in that series has been an improvement upon the formula that Will White was like implementing at the beginning, which I don't think I've ever given like the full pitch for this. I've talked about it a little bit in the Discord, but Cradle, like the essential like idea behind it is that so it follows a main character named Lyndon who is unsouled. That's like what his title is. Meaning he basically has no powers in a world where everyone has magic powers. That's the very basic way of explaining it. And it's basically him leaving like his hometown and he's discovering that he can have powers and that he's like getting stronger. That's like the very basic pitch of what's going on. There's a lot more to it than that, but it's very simple in that way. And in that's why I compare it to like a shonen anime, even though there's a lot of other stuff too, but the reason that specifically it's like a shonen anime is that it follows a protagonist who is very weak at the beginning, and he gets powers, and then he slowly gets stronger until he's extremely powerful. And what does that sound like? Literally every single shonen anime. I mean, you could relate it to almost any of them, and there will be elements that are in these books. And man, it just keeps getting better. I only just finished book 4. There are 12 books in that series, so I have plenty more to go. And they're like these little tiny bite-sized snacks that I can eat between all my big books, you know, and I really appreciate that because I'm not going to run out of them anytime soon. They're always fun when I'm reading them, and they just give me a little bit of a snack to chew on between my big old meals that I'm eating. So let's get into the big old meal that I am eating right now, and that is Jade City. I said I was going to read something else. I think I said I was going to read Terry Pratchett last week. I lied. I fucking lied because I had this weird idea in my head of like, well, you know, maybe I should read Terry Pratchett just because like I want to be able to like say that I did it. That's not how you should choose books for reading. You should just choose whatever you feel like reading. And I did just that. My mom and I share a Kindle account, and she has had the first Greenbone Saga book on there, Jade City. And I was like, I'm just going to download it and start reading it on the trip to Colorado. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm almost done. I'm not quite done yet. I have about 15% left. I'm probably actually going to, after I finish recording, I'm going to go sit down and finish it because, man, I've been loving it, man. Oh my god. I think someone else said in the Discord that they were starting this series. I can't remember that, if that's like, I'm imagining that. But, oh my god. It's so good. The first like 30%, I will say, was kind of slow. It's, very exposition heavy because this has a surprising amount of world building. It's like urban fantasy adjacent because it's clearly meant to be a lot like Earth, but it's not Earth. Like there's like made up countries, there's made up like everything is made up. It's not Earth, but it is kind of Earth. Like there's like phones and cars and like, you know, the way they talk, it's literally, it's Earth. It is Earth, but it's not. It's like a made-up version of it. And it all takes place, I'm just giving you the pitch right now. It all takes place on this island called Kekin, and on Kekin, there's this material called Jade that basically gives people superhuman abilities, but only the natives of the island are, like, immune to the negative side effects of Jade, so they're the only ones that can really use it, and so on this island is just, like, this population of like superhuman people who can use this jade to like be superhumans. That's the basic concept of it, and then it's kind of like take that concept and then plug in like The Godfather because it's like gang warfare. It's like kind of like the mob. There's two warring clans on this island, and that's the plot. There's two warring clans on this island. That's the plot basically, and you're following like one of the families, and their like dynamics and everything. I didn't really know what to expect going into this book, but there's been a lot more of a focus on like the socio-political climate of the world than I was expecting. There's a lot of time spent just talking about like the implications of what Jade trade throughout the world could mean, and like all the different groups that are trying to get their hands on it, and all sorts of kind of politicking and scheming and stuff, which at first was a bit much. Like I said, the first like 30%, it was like a little slow, and I was just a little overwhelmed by the amount of information that was being given to me, and I wasn't super into it at first. I kind of had to like just push through, but then once I got through about the 30% mark, it really started to pick up, and I started to get a lot more invested in the characters. And then right after the halfway point, there's an event that happens about 50% that totally hooked me. I was fully in from that moment moving forward, and it's been hard for me to put it down. The only reason I'm not done is because I made myself slow down, because I didn't want to just like plow through the book and then have to move on to something else. I honestly, I've been debating just picking up the next one in the trilogy right away when I finish this one, but I think I'm gonna do a buffer book. I don't know though. I'm gonna see how I feel when I finish it, because for all I know, I'm gonna finish this book and like the ending is just gonna be like a 10 out of 10, and I'm not gonna be able to hold back. But I don't know for sure what's gonna happen. But man, the second half of this book, if you're reading it, or if you plan on reading it, I highly suggest getting past at least the 50% mark, because that's, to me, when I really got into it. I mean, I was enjoying it up until that point, but that was when it kind of clicked, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then I've just been soaring through it. And like I said, I could be done already, but I'm gonna finish it tonight, and then you'll get my full thoughts on it next week. And who knows, maybe I'll have started the next one. I'm very much a mood reader, so I don't really know what I'm gonna read next. I haven't decided. I have so many series that I'm reading right now. I just sat down today and I was counting all the series that I'm reading, and I was like, I can't just start another one. Like, I need to finish one of the series that I'm reading, because I'm reading The Wheel of Time, and I am not in the mood for that. Like, so I'm not picking that up. I just started the Greenbone Saga, so I'm gonna have to finish that eventually. I'm reading the Kingkiller Chronicle. I read the first one. Thankfully, there's only 2 books in that series currently, so maybe that's what I'll read next, is the second book. So the first one is The Name of the Wind. The second one is The Wise Man's Fear. I have both of them. I might just pick up The Wise Man's Fear. So I need to do that. I'm still currently reading Mistborn Era 2, Brandon Sanderson. I haven't read the last book in that series because I need to. If you're getting into Brandon Sanderson, the Cosmere there's like 4 series or 3 series in it, and it's suggested that you read every other book in the series before you read The Lost Metal, which is the last book in Mistborn Era 2. So I haven't read Warbreaker, which is another book in the Cosmere, and I need to read that before I can read The Lost Metal. But that's another series that I have going on. I guess I could count the Cosmere as a whole as a series that I have going on that I'm still not fully caught up on. Let's see, what did I already list? I already said so many things. Is there anything else that I'm currently reading? I don't think there is. Well, technically I'm reading the still First Law World. I haven't read the rest of it. I know that they're standalones that I'm reading right now, so technically they're not like a series, but they are. Like, they're all connected in some way, shape, or form, so I really want to get into that, and I think there's some I'm forgetting too. My point is, I have so many things that I am reading right now, and I need to finish. I'm reading Cradle. Yeah, like, oh my god. I need to finish like one of them before I move on. And Red Rising has the next book coming out. Okay, I'm done listing series that I'm reading. My point is, I need to finish something. I think maybe I'll read The Wise Man's Fear. That way, because that's just one book. I can wrap it up, and then I'm done with Kingkiller. That might be the move. I'm not fully sure yet, but I'm gonna decide as tonight probably once I finish Jade City, because I'm never not reading a book, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but you guys will find out next week. My point is, Jade City, very good. Highly recommend. Definitely push past the first half if you pick it up and you aren't enjoying it at first. So, yes. Also, update on the book club for anyone who is in the Patreon. I did a little poll listing a bunch of titles. I think it was 4 titles that we were going to go through and have you guys vote on what we should read, and everyone voted for something different. So there's 3 people in the Patreon right now. Everyone voted for a different book. So I'm just gonna decide. I'm just gonna decide what we read. I'm sorry if I'm not choosing yours. I haven't decided yet, but I have decided that I'm gonna start reading it, whatever it is, on the 1st of July. So 5 days from now. What day is today? 5 days from now. Yes, I'm gonna start reading it then. Again, I'm not gonna like keep anyone else to a timeline. I'm just gonna start reading it then, and whenever I'm done, I will post. Or during reading, I'll post like updates, and then when I'm done, you guys will get a Patreon exclusive like little episode where I just talk about it and we have a discussion, and then you guys can like comment on it and I'll reply. Like we'll have like a whole thing. And on top of that, I want to just, if you guys want anything else in the Patreon, just let me know. Like, just comment on anything on those posts, comment on this video, it doesn't really matter. I'm pretty much open to anything on there. I really am just kind of winging the Patreon, and, I want you guys to get whatever you want out of it, So, I'm very excited to start the book club, though, because I think it'll be really fun to have discussions about that. So, the 1st, prepare for the 1st for me to start reading it. Doesn't mean you have to start then. That's when I'm going to start. And I haven't decided yet, but I will post. I'll probably decide tomorrow, and I'll post on the Patreon, whatever it is, and then you guys can prepare or whatever, So, yeah, very excited for that. Very excited to share that with you guys. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, oh my gosh, it's so cool that we're going to be able to do that. That's awesome to me. But in non-book news, I went and saw Asteroid City the other day. That's Wes Anderson's new movie. I love Wes Anderson's work, so I was really excited when I went, and I thought that it was an excellent movie. I didn't understand it at all, though. I need to go see it a second time. I think I've decided. I need to go see that movie a second time because it is... The structure of the story, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not really a spoiler. This is like how the movie starts, okay, in case you want to see it. It starts with a host talking about the creation of a play that we then see the creation of on stage. I'm not explaining this correctly. We see like the playwright writing the play, and like the and like the actors preparing for the play, but they're doing it as a play. Like the preparation is the play in the movie, and then the actual play itself is the movie. I'm doing such a bad job explaining it, but like oh my god, how do I explain this? So there's the script writer, right? And the play that's taking place on stage is about the script writer writing the play. The actual play is just the movie. Not the movie... Not the movie that's showing the creation of the play. There's like a movie going on inside of it. Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. You would just have to see the movie. I can't explain it, dude. It's so confusing. And it was like really poignant, and it had a lot of like moments that kind of hit me hard. And it was clear to me that like the theme was like the search for the meaning of life and like existence outside of humanity, because there's a spoiler alert. There's sci-fi stuff. I'm not gonna say what it was. There's sci-fi stuff in the movie that I was definitely not expecting. But it also seemed like it was like a movie about grief, and there were so many layers to that movie, and probably like lines of dialogue that went over my head that were important. I need to go see it again now that I kind of know what I'm getting into, and see if I can pick it apart. That movie is confusing as hell, but I love Wes Anderson. I love his style, and I enjoyed it. I was kind of sad seeing other people that I, like mutuals that I have online that were like, oh my god, I totally got it. And I was like, am I just dumb? Like, am I just stupid? Because I didn't understand a good chunk of that movie. I didn't understand what was going on at all. I was so confused. And, continuing my tradition of shitty movie theater experiences, if you listened to last week's podcast, I went to see Elemental. And there was these high school girls in front of me that were on their phones the whole time and, like, being very loud and annoying. Like more so than, like, I'm not a Karen, okay? I'm not a Karen, but, like, they were being so annoying. And I didn't say anything to them, but they were being very loud. They were taking calls and, like, FaceTimes and watching TikToks. It was too much, okay? In this one, there was a bunch of elderly people in my showing, which I was like, okay, good. Like, this time they're gonna all be sitting there quietly, right? There was this guy... I'm still baffled by this. He came in with headphones on. It was an elderly man. He was there with his wife with headphones on, turned up all the way, and he didn't take them off for the entire movie. I don't know what he was listening to, but anytime there was a moment of silence, I could hear some fucking guy talking in this guy's headphones for the entire movie. Why did you even go to the movie theater? Wait, you can't hear what's going on? There's no way he heard any of the lines of dialogue. Okay, listen, I hesitate to complain about this because for all I know, it's like he's got some horrific neurological condition and listening to stuff on his headphones is the only way that he can go out in public. I don't know. I don't know what his situation is, but also I'm allowed to be a little upset about it, okay? I'm allowed to be like, okay, what the hell was that? Like, I've never seen that before in my life. Okay, anyway, I just have bad luck with movies. And actually, I'm going to see a movie tonight, later, like late. I'm going to see the Jennifer Lawrence comedy movie, and I don't know, I think it'll be fun. I enjoy going to the movies by myself. I don't think I've talked about that. That's like one of my favorite ways of going to the movies, because I can like stretch out, I can like, sit crisscross applesauce in the chair, because I have a really hard time sitting in one spot for a long time. But anyway, the point is, I went and saw Asteroid City. I got way off track there. I went and saw Asteroid City. It was sci-fi. I was not expecting that, and which is why I'm even talking about it on the podcast, is because it randomly, I'm not going to spoil it. I do suggest going to see the movie if you have any interest. So that blew my mind. That the movie was just not what I was expecting at all. And in the same vein of like television and movies and whatnot, you guys need to go watch the trailer for The 3 Body Problem. If you haven't already, you need to go watch that trailer because that show looks awesome. I don't typically like most of the stuff that Netflix makes. There's like a few shows that I've enjoyed, but most of the stuff they make looks bad. This looks really good. It's also based off a book series. If you haven't heard of it before, it's called The 3 Body Problem. I actually have all 3, it's a trilogy. I have all 3 of the books on my bookshelf. I haven't read any of them. I'm gonna read them before the show comes out because I don't want to have watched it and not read the books. They're lauded. People love these books. They're in any list that you look up, these will come up on like the best science fiction books of all time. I'm very excited to read them. I don't know when that's gonna be, but I'm gonna get to it eventually. Trailer looks awesome. That's what convinced me. I mean, I was already going to read them, but seeing the trailer kind of moved them up on my TBR because it looked so good. I was like, I need to know like what this is about. I need to know like what the story is here. So definitely go watch that if you haven't already. It looks awesome. And also, maybe prepare to read them. I would suggest that this is just me as a purist. I always prefer reading things before watching them. So this is an opportunity to do just that with one of the most acclaimed science fiction series of all time. So also, if you've read it already, like let me know what you think. I don't know very many people personally that have read them, but everyone that I know who has loves them and thinks they're incredible. So I'm very excited. I'll probably get to that pretty soon, actually. Once I finish the Greenbone Saga, I think that's the next trilogy that I'll pick up because I want to start, I think I talked about this last week, I want to start dipping my toe into more sci-fi. Did I already talk about something like this? I can't remember, but point is, go watch the trailer if you haven't already. Do it. Just go do it. Sit down, open your phone, whatever it is, go watch the trailer. Not until this is done, but afterwards. Let's see, what else is going on right now? Oh, same, in the vein of science fiction, I was just looking, there's a month left until Book 6 and Red Rising comes out. I've talked about this on various platforms. I was just talking to my mom, because I read this series with my parents. Dude, Red Rising is so good. It's so good, and I'm not reading them right now on my channel, but there are a lot of other podcasts and YouTube channels that are also... not YouTube channels, those don't exist outside of mine, of course, but there's a lot of other people that are reading Red Rising right now, and there's probably plenty of opportunities for read-alongs, and dude, it's worth it. It's worth it if you've been on the fence. It's such a good series. It's epic science fiction at its best. It's phenomenal. It's such a good series. And I will be talking about it a lot when Lightbringer comes out, which is book 6. And it's not the end of the series. There's going to be another book after that. But Pierce Brown has been putting these out at a crazy rate. So I'm not expecting like a long wait before book 7 comes out. But I'm just saying, that's my biggest recommendation for anybody. Read Red Rising right now before the next one comes out. So that's just... Anyway, I've talked about that enough on my channel. So I'm going to be done with that right now. But In other news, that has nothing to do with any of that. I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok. If you do, you've probably noticed a few posts from me in the past few days. I had a really stupid idea. I don't know where this came from. I don't know what evil spirit possessed me, but I decided to do the challenge, but a self-imposed challenge, I might add, of doing a little dance every day until there's a Winds of Winter release date. Winds of Winter being book 6 in the A Song of Ice and Fire series, Game of Thrones. That book's never coming out, is it? Did I just doom myself to a lifetime of doing a stupid little dance on TikTok forever? Maybe. I don't know. You know what? I've seen speculation that book will be coming out next year. I give no credence to that. It's taken him 12 years to write this book. I don't know if he's ever going to put it out. I don't think there's any chance he ever finishes the series. I think he's probably going to die before that happens, as sad as that is. I don't think there's any chance he finishes it. I think this book might come out eventually, maybe. But there's been rumors that it comes out next year. And if that happens, then one of my TikToks will probably blow up. That would be awesome. Because then I'll be the idiot that did that for however long, like a year. Now that I'm saying that out loud, it sounds really stupid. But my train of thought when I started this is actually I hadn't looked up when I thought the book was going to come out. This is something I did after I started this, when I found out that people thought it was coming out next year. Before that, I was just like, on TikTok specifically, I felt like weird making videos. Part of the reason I like this podcast is because I can just talk naturally, and it's a podcast. So, like, of course, I'm supposed to talk naturally, right? On TikTok, I feel weird because it's like, I only have, like, the short window of time, and, like, I have to make it as, like, snappy as possible, and I have to, like, make it presentable, you know? And I just felt weird and, like, kind of, like, self-conscious about everything I was posting. So, in a way, what I started this for was to be like an exercise in me just making a fool out of myself every single day. I suck at dancing. I hate seeing people. I hate people seeing me dance. I hate it. I feel so awkward and weird. And now I'm doing it in front of. I have like 6,000 followers on there, and every day, you know, a chunk of them are gonna see me making a fool out of myself. And it's kind of removing a barrier of self-consciousness because, like, if I can do that every day, I can post whatever I want on there, right? Like, surely there's nothing dumber than that I can be doing. Well, there is, but you know what I mean. So I started that. You can go watch them if you want. You can go on my TikTok. They're just goofy. They're really dumb. I'm not. It's not a big deal, but I'm doing it. And I'm crossing my fingers that it is real, that it'll come out next year, and that would be awesome, because then I can say that I did this, and they'll probably, at least one of them will probably kind of blow up if that happens. And, you know, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing, except for that it's probably the dumbest thing I could ever get notoriety for. But bookmark this video, and we can come back to it, and you can see me laughing about it now whenever I'm, rolling in the TikTok dough, I guess. Let's see. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about this week? I don't think there is. I've talked about pretty much all the things that I wanted to. I hope you guys are enjoying the stuff you're reading. It feels weird having me like spouting out all this stuff. I hope you're enjoying all the stuff you're reading too, because books, they just make my life so much better. When I'm reading Jade City this week, it's been such a good escape for me. I've just been sitting around for a while, and having books to kind of dive into and then like talk about them here, it's awesome. It's awesome, man. I love making this podcast. I have fun literally every single time. But I think this is going to be a shorter episode, mostly because I have been mainly only reading one book this week. Normally that's not the case. Normally I'm reading like 2 or 3 books every week, but I got into Jade City, and I was like, I don't really want to read anything else right now. I did start book 5 of Cradle. I'm like 30 pages into that. I'm not very far, but you know what? Actually, now that I say that out loud, I'll probably read that next. So, but that'll only take me a couple days. Those books, like I said, they're so short. But I think I'm gonna end it here because I'm just rambling at this point. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you're doing well. I hope you guys are all happy and healthy. And I will see you in the next video. Also expect check the Patreon for what book we're gonna read. So until then, though, but until next time, bye bye. See ya.